Welcome to Qigong Tips number 4. I'm Francesco Garripoli, and it's my joy and honor to share some insights into Qigong, a beautiful energy healing practice that I have been studying for a long time. My first teacher was back in the mid-70s. So, it's been something that has taken my life and my journey deep. To help me understand about myself. I mean, why else do we ask questions about these things? Why are you even interested in this video? Same reason I am. We're here to explore and to discover, but not to listen to theory and not to try to think that there's an absolute in any of this knowledge. You can read all the books, even from the ancients. I hate to say it, but who said that the ancients were even right? They're like you and like me. They're here exploring, and it has to be an empirical journey. That means you have to try it yourself. So whatever I share with you, put it to the test. Put it into your practice. Put it into your routine. If we talk about breathing, do those breathing exercises. If we talk about movement, try to give it a chance. But not from here, but from here. Okay? Not from the intellect, or what I like to call the intellectual mind. Do it from that intuitive heart mind. And I promise you, your practice will soar because you'll gain a certain sense of empowerment. And that's what this is all about. Disempowerment comes from believing what other people tell you. Empowerment comes from discovering it from that essential part of ourself that's beyond words, beyond knowledge, beyond facts. So what I share with you comes from 40 years of practicing and testing and questioning and following other people and questioning them, finding out what works for me. And I hope that some of these things will work for you too. So today I want to talk about the organ cleansing Qigong system. It's also called Zhang Fu Gong. Zhang Fu is the inner organs, the heart, the lung, the liver, kidneys. Organ cleansing Qigong is all about understanding how to work with energy in our body. And the very first thing I want to share about this, and we'll go through a lot of different aspects of this form. I'll sit here and talk, and then we'll cut away to some practices that I'll do out in the park. So you can see the movements, and we'll try to go through. There's maybe, 14 different moves, including the opening and close. The very first, and I think for me the most critical part to understand about this, about any Qigong, is that you are not moving Qi. Okay, so this may be a conflict for what you thought or what you believed or what you read. Because we think about flowing Qi, moving Qi through our body. We think about storing Qi or releasing bad Qi or collecting good Qi. For me, if you're interested in what I have to share from my heart, which is for your empowerment, do your best to release that concept. To release the idea that you're projecting any 3D space-time qualities onto Qi. Can you measure it? Has anyone measured it? Did you watch my documentary from 20 years ago where I even talked with scientists in China who tried to define Qi, measure it in laboratories? They came close, but what they were doing was measuring the effect. And what I've come to now in this phase in my life is that we are activating Qi, not moving Qi, not storing Qi, not releasing Qi. We are activating Qi. It's a very important concept, and it's key to the new book that I'll be releasing. Don't worry, I won't be pitching that book now because I haven't finished writing it. I still have a bit of work to do on it, but it's almost done. Activate Qi. When we move our hands, Lao Gong point, remember, Lao Gong, hard-working point, connected to our pericardium. Ancients were very wise in knowing that we use the pericardium channel and the heart energy, the heart protection energy, we call the pericardium, peri, around the heart. We use that energy to help us with the activation with our yi intention. So when we move our hand along our arms out to our fingertips, and then the Laogong points come together and we draw with an in-breath in the inside of our arm back to our heart. And then we cross over again and we guide our Laogong point out to our fingertips on the other side. And then we inhale in and draw back to the heart. Exhaling out along the yang channels, inhaling in along the yin channels. So the first thing that I love that people question, and I do hope that you'll question this video, write comments, I'll post them. It's great for dialogue. I love interactive dialogue. First thing that people write all over the world. Remember, we have probably about 165 people now who are certified in the organ cleansing Qigong. They're certified to instruct this form. I've spent a long time traveling the world working with these people. I'm so proud of the instructors who've been certified. We have another certification program coming up in November. This is 2019. If you're in the future, it was back in 2019. If you're now, think about November, coming out to California. And it'll take a small group through an intense 5-day journey to explore things just like this. And when people say, but I've read in a book that qi doesn't flow out the yang channels, it flows in the yang channels, and doesn't flow in the yin channels, it flows out the yin channels. And I have to ask, have you seen the qi flow? Have you experienced that? Or have you just thought, have you just overthought about qi even flowing? And why are you projecting these dualities, qualities of duality, limitation, and scarcity on something so beautiful as qi? Why couldn't the scientists back in China, in the documentary I did and all the research I've done in 40 years, ever be able to identify qi in space and time? Because qi does not exist in this dimension. We know from quantum physics that very believable doctors who've done a lot of research, and researchers and scientists, physicists, have all come to the conclusion that there are multiple dimensions. It's no longer science fiction. We know that. Read about it. I'm here in New Jersey right now. Down the road in Princeton, they work really hard to identify, some of them say 11 different dimensions. Another word for dimensions in the world of physics is degree of freedom. What that means is that the atomic structure and the subatomic elements are moving in and out of this dimension with a new degree of freedom. They are moving to another degree of freedom, another dimension. They no longer exist in this viewable space. But many times elements come back into the atom. So bits and pieces of us are leaving and returning on a regular basis. Where do they go? In my view, they're moving to that dimensional space where qi exists all the time. Well, how can it affect us? How can those subatomic particles affect us? Well, because they're moving in and out of the atomic energy field. The ancients in Mandarin call it wei qi, or the energy field around our body. The wei qi field is not just outside our body, it's around every cell in your body. It's around every molecule in every cell in your body, and it's around every atom in every molecule in your body. The atomic structure is an energy field. Keep boring down, study quantum physics a little bit, and you'll see that the atomic structure is an energy field, and the elements, subatomic elements, nucleus, electrons, quarks, every bit of the wonderful names that are given, colors, down to the strings, are still energy fields. No matter what the physicists try to say, try to hold on to the physical so much that they even go down to that Planck level, that tiniest distance you can measure, and they still call it a string. They can't release that it's a thing or a solid, tangible object. We will evolve greatly in science when we release that idea of strings and things and accept energy fields. This will blow the minds of the mathematicians because it has to work with infinity and multiple dimensions. This is not new age stuff. Right now, we are at the crossroads of physics and spirituality. How fantastic. How does it work with Qigong? How does it work for you? How does it work for me? If it's just theory, it's not that interesting, okay? I'm not interested in theory. I'm interested in practical, okay? Your throat is dry, drink water. That's a practical thing to do. Take the practical steps in your life to make your life different. Okay. Once we understand that Qi does not exist in this dimension, it's ego and fear and ego are pretty much the same thing, that project upon Qi these limitations. If you choose to stay in that space, great, but you will be playing out the same habitual pattern of fear and limitations that brought you to the questions you have right now, that brought you to even search about Qigong, about your health, about your healing, about your personal transformation, about your freedom. So when we do the most basic part of the organ cleansing Qigong, which is the meridian cleansing and strengthening, the clearing, the detoxing, doesn't come from moving Qi. I'm not dealing with a sewer system or some plumbing. I'm dealing with a beautiful and amazing energy field, a high probability energy field called the meridians, Jing Lo, okay, Jing Mai in Mandarin. When my hand moves along these meridians, there's an activation effect. I call it the Qi effect. You're instigating, you through your intention, you through movement and positioning, are activating the Qi that is immersed in your body, that your body is immersed in. We are marinating, swimming in an infinite field of energy. How could that move? It's dancing. It's being activated through our thoughts, through our karma, through our body movements. That's why Qigong is so effective. Certain body positions, movements, dynamics, mudras help to activate Qi. So, throw away, release, transform your ideas that Qi is moving anywhere, that it's collecting anywhere, that it's building up anywhere, that it's released anywhere. And you'll be free. It will be the first step, I promise you, that will help your Qigong practice expand to what you know in your intuitive mind it can be. So, when we move through the meridians, both in the arms and those meridians down our legs, when we move our hands down the outside of our leg on the yang channels and up the inside of our legs on the yin channels, we are facilitating the activation of Qi. When Qi is activated, its relationship with the physical body changes. We'll say in that activation, the Qi can do what it does in this physical way. You wouldn't be alive if it wasn't already doing it, okay? You wouldn't be alive if Qi activation wasn't already playing itself out in every minute of your day. The autonomic nervous system kicking in, your heartbeat, your digestion, your eye blinks, your breathing. But do you want to just survive? Do you want to just stay in this life as a surviving, sleeping creature? No. You know you are more than your body. You know there's more to this than just surviving. This is what frustrates everybody. Everybody I meet thousands of people a year in my travels and teaching workshops. And one of the main issues people have is that I know there's more to this life. There's more to my job. There's more to my relationship. There's more to my family. There's more to my health. Why am I so trapped? Because you're trapped in the habitual patterns of belief systems. You're trapped in a limited viewpoint that has been impressed upon you. It's okay, me too. I was just a little crazy. So even from a kid, I questioned. Even from a child, I was finding mudras at 7 years old and going into the astral world, whatever I named it at that time. But we all search and we all have questions. Many times these questions don't come up until we reach a critical place, a trauma, an illness. Qigong is great to act as a preventative. This means do it before it gets to a point where you have a critical emergency. Do it now. And what does it mean to do it? First, change your belief systems about energy. Understand that you are immersed in an infinite field of energy. You have access to all the resources you need. Einstein said it. All the spiritual gurus have said it over millennia. We're just a little thick. We've had a very intense 500 years of intellectual development in this world since the Renaissance. Renaissance was the biggest disaster ever. But we're here now, okay? And you have a chance. You have an opportunity to have your own renaissance, a shift out, as the Greeks called it, a metanoia, that place where you change your mind to a new way of thinking. See yourself immersed in a field of qi. Stop wasting time trying to move it or manipulate it, but get into that place where you begin to activate the qi. When qi and the physical form works at a rarefied level, we see the rejuvenation, the healing, the transformation. We see the effects of more energy, reduced pain. All those effects that we associate with Qigong come from qi being activated at a more efficient way than our normal survival self. Okay? So that's beautiful. So organ cleansing takes us to this place where we look at our body 3 different ways. We see the organ we call the heart. We see the organ we call the stomach and the liver. We see those organs in their tissue, physical form. We honor that. Okay? This isn't duality. This is honoring where we are right now in our awareness. Now there's a second level to the organs. We call this the Jing Mai or the Jing Lo or the energy meridians. Each organ now works through these meridians to express its next level of resolution. Okay? From that physical pumping heart comes that beautiful meridian of the heart that moves out. The pericardium moves out. The liver moves out and down the inside of the leg and up and out. We say move, but it means that it exists. It vibrates along that high probability field we call the meridians. That's why acupuncture works. That's why massage works, like Tui Na. That's why Qigong works. We're activating the high probability fields that affect the organs themselves. So now the organ is defined as the physical tissue and muscle. It's defined as the Jing Mai or the energy channel. And the third most beautiful part that we really emphasize in organ cleansing is the energy signature. Every organ projects, contributes to the Wei field through its energy signature. So there is a Wei Qi component to the heart that feeds the Wei Qi composite. There is a Wei Qi component to the stomach that feeds and contributes to the Wei Qi field. It's beautiful. And we have an amazing influence on each of those organs by understanding the physical organ, the meridian aspect of those organs, and then the energy field, the energy signature of those organs. Organ cleansing Qigong, Zhangfu Gong, helps us to work on those 3 different levels of the organ. It changes the way we relate to our body. Okay? We no longer just see our heart as this lowercase heart. It's pumping muscle and we've got to work on our heart and we talk about our heart energy and we keep putting it here. Okay? It's natural. Can you start redefining heart? And when you think about the heart, you start seeing the heart all the way out here. And then another step, you start seeing the heart out here. We know a lot of research, especially heart math, and some of these people have done some really great work at trying to measure the heart resonance, maybe out to 50 feet. This is still kindergarten. This is still limited dualistic thinking. I trust you that our heart connection is moving through this video to wherever you are in the world in this moment. This kind of energy, we'll call Qi, doesn't lock itself into the constraints of space-time. This means distance doesn't matter and time doesn't matter. Okay? It's why direction doesn't matter. Why do we go from the shoulder out to the fingertips with an exhale? Try it. Your lungs work as you push out. It's a great way to exhale and contract your lower diaphragm, your lower abdomen. And when you inhale in and lift up. It's a natural, physiological efficiency. And when our breath works with our movement in an efficient way, we use less force. We're more in that wu-wei space. And we're in the groove, which is what Qigong is really all about. So I hope that this little insight, little because it's short, it's not much information, but big because it is the crux of the shift that will help you in your practice. I learn every day. I don't claim to know anything, but I really do this practice every day. And when I travel around the world and I teach, I'm learning. You teach best what you need to learn most, as my old teacher used to tell me back in the 70s. So keep learning, keep your heart open, and enjoy this beautiful practice. And if you're interested in coming to the organ cleansing Qigong instructor certification in November, go to our website, Community Awake, and learn more about it. And if you want to come just for the workshop and not for the instructor part, the first couple of days are going to be allocated for that. So I hope to see you, and I wish you well. Peace.